Hi scholars, I'm back again with another project, and if you remember last week we did a project called Stuck at Home Still Lifes, and that was where you just collect different items in your house and arrange them, and then you practice drawing that arrangement. That is a really good project that you can do over and over again, and it will help you be a better artist and kind of practice those skills of learning how to draw things the way that you can see them. While I was doing that video, I mentioned shading, and today I'm back to give you a lesson on practicing shading. So what shading is, for those who don't know, is when you make parts of your picture look lighter and darker to make it look like your object is more three-dimensional. So when we get really good at shading, we can make things look more realistic. So what you're going to need for this project is a pencil and paper, and then I would look around your house for any items that are just kind of simple shapes and simple colors. So some examples of things that I found: I have this really round rock that I'm actually going to use because it's almost like a ball. If you have a ball, that'd be great. So I'm going to use that. I have a cup, and I have a cardboard box. Okay. The other thing that you need is a light source. So a light source is just anything that produces light. You could use a lamp, you could use the sunlight coming through your window, but you want to have your light, especially for starting, you want to have your light coming from a specific direction, because that will help you with practicing and learning how to see light and shadow.
Before you get to do anything with your objects, we need to practice our shading control. And so what we're gonna make is called a grayscale, and we're gonna make two of them. The first one, all I want you to do is draw a long rectangle like this, and you can break it into different boxes. So let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boxes. So if you want to have more, you can do more. I actually might break this one in half and do 7. Okay, then what you're gonna have is each one of these boxes, I want you to color them in, and I want you to keep one that is, the one down on this side is gonna be as light as you can make it. So if we want it as light as possible, what we're really gonna do is just leave it blank, and we're not gonna color it at all. And then this one right here, we want this one to be as dark as possible. And then we want each one in the middle to be in between. Okay, so you're gonna start lighter, and each square is gonna get darker and darker and darker until you get to your darkest one. Okay, and you can pick, because some people like to go from dark to light, some people like to go from light to dark. So I will show you guys how to do that step. So I did that on a time lapse, so it went faster than real life. But what I did is I just started here, and I tried pushing as softly as I could, and then every square I pushed a little bit harder, okay? And it does take practice. If you have to do this more than once, that's totally fine. The whole reason why we're doing this part first is so that your hand can get really good at learning how to apply different pressures and get different grays with your pencil. If you're ready to move on, the next thing that we're gonna do is we're actually gonna draw another rectangle, not triangle. And this time I'm not going to divide it with lines. I'm just going to start at one end. Maybe this time I'm going to start with my darker end. I'm going to make it as dark as I can on this side, and I'm slowly going to get lighter and lighter, and that's going to make a gradient instead of boxes where everything is contained. It's going to just gradually turn into white, okay? Okay, so there's my second one. And another thing you guys can play around with is smudging with your fingers, because when we use our fingers to kind of smudge the graphite around, it kind of blends everything together a little bit more smoothly, and then you can't see your pencil lines as well. So that's another thing that you can kind of play with when you're doing some shading stuff, just like that. And this does take practice, so if you do it more times than just once, that would be awesome. Oh my goodness, you guys, this is my third video I've been trying to make. So for some reason, the shading videos are harder to film than any other project we've done so far, but we're gonna try until we succeed. So I have moved rooms, and the reason why is because there's more dramatic lighting in this room, and I'm on the floor again. The room I'm in has a ceiling light which is on, which means that light is coming straight down. You can see the shadow of my hand. Light's coming straight down onto the rock. So if the light's coming straight down onto the rock, that means two things. The first is that the dark side of the rock's going to be underneath it, where there's no light directly on it. And the second thing is that the rock's going to cast a shadow straight onto the ground. So you can see that round little shadow right there. So here I've already started drawing the rock, and the way that I did that is I just started with my circle-ish shape, because our rock is a circle-ish shape. So just do like a line drawing first. Then after you've done that, you're going to start the shading. And so the shading is going to start, for me, I start at the bottom where it's really, really dark, and then I'm going to work my way up. So I'm adding some shadow underneath like this, and you're going to push really hard, just like how you were pushing really hard with your dark values on your grayscale, and they're slowly going to get lighter and lighter. And another way that you can go from dark to light is you can kind of start with really, really dark. You can start with your really dark sides, and then you can actually use your finger to blend your pencil lines and kind of start moving that graphite to your other sides, which is going to kind of like smudge it, but also make it lighter. That also kind of blends your pencil lines together so it doesn't look scribbly. Okay, so start with that, and then you can, if you want to make it look a little more realistic too, you can also draw your shadow that the rock casts. So I'm going to draw that round shadow right here, and I'm going to fill that in. That shadow is not going to be as dark as the darkest part of my rock, but it is going to be darker like this. So I'm just going to fill it in. And just go like that. Okay, so you can practice that. Some other things that you can practice are if you have a light source, like here I have this little lamp with me. This actually ended up, I started trying it this way, but it actually ended up being too harsh, so I switched what I was doing. But you could turn this lamp on, or a lamp on. If I have this light on, see how now it changes the shadows on my rock. So now I could try drawing it again, and it would be really, really light right here and a little bit darker on the back side. Okay, so you can kind of play with some different things. Practice with, today I want you to practice your grayscale, and then I want you to practice with your most simple shape first, because you'll get confused if you start with too tricky of shapes. So start with your most simple shape first, and then we'll build on that in coming days. All right, have fun.